Would you rather have crossplay or cross progression in Left 4 Dead 2? This is going to be one of many questions that we're going to be asking here today in today's video of Left 4 Dead 2 Would You Rather. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to end up being a fun video today because I've once again got 8 other brand new questions for you guys about Left 4 Dead theme Would You Rather questions. This is kind of like a mini series I've been doing for the last little bit. I think that this is really quite fun because I really like to see what your guys' opinions are on these questions because everyone likes a good, deep, philosophical question that makes us think every now and again, and that's what I'm going to be doing here for today's video. So once again, this is another installment. If you guys have been enjoying today's video, please end up dropping a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys' support. It means a lot more than you think it does, and it will allow you to be able to tell me you want to see more videos like this in the future, so please, by all means, just smash that thumbs up button. But ladies and gentlemen, yeah, let's go back to what we talked about at the very beginning of the video. So cross progression or play. That is something interesting. Now, will Left 4 Dead ever receive this? I can't necessarily guarantee. However, though, is that it still is possible, and if it was possible, would you rather have the cross progression or the cross play? Now, for me, if I had to pick, even though I would adore both, I gotta go with the cross play specifically. Because even if it would just be with Xbox players, it would still just make the game so much more, feel lively. Like, you would be able to play with your buddies, somebody that might not be able to have a PC yet, and all they have is just their Xbox. Hell, even their Xbox 360, potentially, even if you could get Xbox 360 crossplay to work, that would be interesting. But at least the Xbox One backwards compatibility portion of Left 4 Dead, if you could get the Xbox backwards compatible version on the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X even, to end up having crossplay with the PC, that would just be incredible. I would love to be able to expand the player base and have the player numbers increase, even if it was just like by technically having it on 2 different platforms. It would just be so amazing. Cross progression would be great. It would be great for like carrying over achievements that you may or may not have on certain platforms in case you don't have them on both. And it would also end up being nice if you wanted to be able to end up having your stats, like for example, like certain, like let's say, like certain things like your statistics. But I don't necessarily think that's as important as going to be playing with your friends at the end of the day. Now here is another interesting one. Would you or would you rather end up getting the achievement Good Guy Nick or Ghost of Christmas Present, and you can only pick one. These are 2 of the absolute hardest achievements in all of Left 4 Dead to get. These achievements require you to help free-to-play players basically beat campaigns, and one of them is only obtainable during the Christmas season, and then one of them is only obtainable during a specific window in time in which the game goes free-to-play. So, Ghost of Christmas Present, basically what that achievement was, that you helped a free-to-play player complete a campaign when they got Left 4 Dead for free in a specific time window a couple years ago. And Good Guy Nick, you just have to play during a free-to-play weekend, help those players complete a campaign. And both of them are really difficult to do because they require very niche circumstances. So which one has the most street cred? Which one of them is the most rare and therefore has the most credibility? Now, even though I do have Ghost of Christmas Present by just sheer luck, I really think that Good Guy Nick is overall more rare and overall more desirable. Here's the reason why. Good Guy Nick is required when you end up playing with a player during a free-to-play weekend, whereas Ghost of Christmas Present, although you had to play with people that were in a specific window just like Good Guy Nick, is at least still obtainable, I believe. I believe that if you play with somebody, you have a chance of them being a player from when the game was free during the Christmas season, and therefore they could still get you said achievement. Now, yes, it is possible to get Good Guy Nick. It's just much, much harder to do because you have to play in a specific window in time when there is free-to-play players, or you get that 1 in a billion chance that you just somehow just get it randomly like I've seen people do before. Because there's just something that we don't quite know yet what's going on, what fully ends up getting these achievements to pop up. Because these achievements have popped up by random. But I really do think that the credibility behind Good Guy Nick is a lot more important. And I also think it's just a lot more rare. Now this one's a toughie. Would you rather never play Versus again, or never play the campaign mode again? And by that I mean single player or multiplayer. Like you just can't play the normal 4 survivors against the normal AI zombies chapter-based campaigns. You have to play all the other game modes instead. Would you rather play Versus and never play normal campaign, or just play normal campaign and never play Versus? Now, even though I do like both modes, I am going to just choose to skip Versus and play just the normal campaign, because even though this game eventually, I would feel like we'll end up just dying out. Like, it's going to be a long time. I'm sure there will always be players, but eventually the game will just die out and online play will just no longer be possible. Whether it be just people just decide to not play the game anymore or the servers get turned off, eventually multiplayer is just not an option. So just because of that very reason, I rather would choose to only ever play the campaign just because I can play it and not have to worry about being turned off on me. Although I would miss versus quite a lot. Now here is a really, really interesting one. I really want to see what you guys think about this. Would you rather always play with modded content and only modded content, or never play with modded content? Which means that, for example, if you were playing Left 4 Dead, you could only end up playing custom maps, you can only ever play the game with everything being modded or not in its original format. Everything is basically a glorified sandbox to you. However, though, is that when you do this, you end up restricting yourself. You can no longer play with just this normal vanilla things. You can no longer rock the characters in their original skins. Even things like such as the maps will just be just out of the normal realm of what you're familiar with, and therefore you always kind of feel like you got to get used to things again, like the new custom maps made by fans. And although they might not even necessarily be that good too either. But, however, though, the alternative is that you can end up playing just the vanilla game, but you will never be able to mod it again. You will never be able to end up putting on any cool skins, any cool character customization. You just play the game as it is and how it was intended. Now, for Xbox players, they might just be already used to this and therefore just say this is their answer. But I feel like that anybody that's played PC or has the idea of what mods can really be like on PC would probably want to play a lot of mods. So it really is a 50-50. However, though, despite the fact that mods are cool, I think I would miss just the original Left 4 Dead. I love the original Left 4 Dead, and I was always used to it, and the core concept of the mods in general is just to be an addition, not a replacement to normal Left 4 Dead. So I think really at the end of the day, I think I'd much rather would in the long run be happier just to play the base Left 4 Dead game. This one's a doozy. Would you rather play with only Left 4 Dead 1 items or Left 4 Dead 2 items? What do I mean by this? Well, you can only play on Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 maps to start off with, but in addition to that, you can only play with either Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 guns, which means that whatever guns were available on those maps at the time, or whatever was additions to Left 4 Dead 2, you can only use those. And whatever equipment also was introduced in Left 4 Dead 2, you can only use that when you're playing on the Left 4 Dead 2 end of things as well. So for example, if you wanted to play nothing but Left 4 Dead 2, that would be only Left 4 Dead 2 maps, only guns that were added in Left 4 Dead 2, not things that were original to Left 4 Dead 1. So that would be things like the AK-47, the military sniper rifle, but you couldn't use things like the M16 and the hunting rifle. And also as well, that goes for equipment, which means you could only use adrenaline and defibs and bio bombs, and you would have to skip out on pain pills, med kits, molotovs, and pipe bombs. Ooh, that would be rough. Now, see, here's the thing, is that I love Left 4 Dead 2 and all the things that it added in for the game, but getting rid of things like the core gameplay, like med kits and pain pills, ooh, that would be a no. Molotovs, med kits, and pain pills are my bread and butter ever since Left 4 Dead 1, man. I can't get rid of those. Like, I use those in Left 4 Dead 2 all the time, and I can't imagine doing that. I very rarely use defibrillators. I very rarely use adrenaline in comparison. And plus also, like, just using, like, only the Left 4 Dead 2 guns would, I feel like after a while, just kind of, like, also get boring. Yes, sure, we've done that with Left 4 Dead 1, but there's something familiar about that, and something that I guess is different. I rather would play with less stuff knowing that that's because the way it was, than play with less stuff and know that I could be using something else. It's like, for example, if I hop on Left 4 Dead 1 for nostalgia's sake, like original Left 4 Dead 1, to make this the most accurate comparison about just saying only using Left 4 Dead 1 stuff, I think that a lot of people would rather play a game when it was at its purest form, even though it's outdated, than play a thing half-finished and know what could have been, if that makes any sense. People would rather have a complete product, even if it's less stuff, than more stuff and have it where they can't access it, if that makes any sense. So I think I'd rather use Left 4 Dead 1 stuff, because basically that would be like Left 4 Dead 1, the original Left 4 Dead 1, but with just out any of the extra bonus stuff that Left 4 Dead 2 had to offer. Because it would be weird, because it would be kind of hard to play Left 4 Dead 2 and not have the Left 4 Dead 1 stuff, because you would just have to refrain from using it, whereas Left 4 Dead 1, you would just play literally Left 4 Dead 1. Alright, introverts, I'm going to give you some PTSD decision-making here. Alright, so this question is going to be, would you rather never ever talk to randoms in your game ever again, Or would you have to always talk to them, regardless if it was type or chat? Would it be something that you guys would want to do? Would you want to make new friends? Would you want to talk to your randoms? Would you want to verbally or by texting communicate with them and just kind of like coordinate things and like ask them how they're doing, etc.? Or would you rather just be a introvert and just not talk to anybody? Now, keep in mind, by the way, is that when I say that you always talk to them, I mean you literally will always talk to them. Like, you can't just say, like, oh, I'll talk to them sometimes. You always have to talk to them, at least at some point in the game, and have basically regular conversation. Now, at the same time, but when I'm saying, like, never talk to them again, I mean, like, never talk to them again. Like, no matter what fit or rage you want to say, no matter what type of tip you want to give because, you know, you feel like that they're just struggling, you want to help them out, no matter what it is, you can never communicate with them ever again. And plus, also, it means you would never be able to make new friends again. So, the way I look at this is that for me, personally, since I'm an extrovert and I would just hate the idea of never being able to communicate with people ever again, I would just bite the bullet and deal with a couple of annoying people every now and again just to communicate with people. That's just me. I feel like a lot of people won't do this, and that might be the unpopular pick, because I know a lot of people, even in the online sense, even though that people like to talk to people, a lot of people really just don't have open mics anymore. I feel like that open microphones are kind of like a waste of the past, and a lot of people just chill in their Discord calls with people that they're already comfortable with. But the way I look at it is that the way that you met those people was that you had to talk to randoms in the first place, so I would choose to talk to somebody always. Next question, second to last. My friends, would you rather end up playing on the absolute worst graphics possible? You downgrade everything to the toilet. You end up having the worst, motion blur imaginable. You have the worst screen sizing imaginable. Your screen basically looks like straight up ass. Or would you rather never be able to play the game without sound again? You cannot hear anything. So no special infected cues, no music, no voice lines, just only things that you can see. Now, this is kind of essentially like a reformatted version of the question of would you rather be deaf or blind? Because you can still function, you can still play the game without your hearing, and if you want to end up having, sight, you would just end up just downgrading the graphics to a crap ton, basically having them be potatoes, so obviously you can still play. Because you could, I guess, play the game without being able to see, but I've done a blindfold challenge before, and trust me, it's not really the most ideal. So, the way I look at this is that, personally, it's rather, would you rather have the game look ugly, or would you rather have, like, horrible time trying to, like, be able to distinguish whether or not there's threats around you? I would say, I would probably answer the same way I would answer the original question of would you rather be blind or deaf. I think I'd rather would just have no game sound. I've already done also a no hearing challenge before, and that was not nearly as bad as the no seeing challenge. And I understand that that's the extreme, is just not being able to see at all. But if you downgrade your graphics enough, it's honestly like you cannot see. So I think I'd rather would just deal with the fact of bad graphics, only if I had to. But if I had the choice, I'd rather would just, like I said, just pick, no hearing. I would only do the graphic thing if I had to, though, of course. This is just a theoretical question. Now, this question, I don't know if you guys have already been ever in this instance before, but I feel like to a certain degree you may have. Now, when it comes to Left 4 Dead, we all want to end up mastering it. We all want to be the best. We all want to end up being the absolute best that we can possibly be, whether that be in the form of mastery of our skill or even the things that we unlock. Now, when it comes to Left 4 Dead, would you, at the end of the day, rather completely master it and have done absolutely everything in the game and finally move on to something else and basically never touch Left 4 Dead again and basically make it like a page in a book you've turned? Or would you rather start all over again, get rid of all your stats, and completely just start over and play Left 4 Dead again from scratch, like when you did when you first started playing one last time? Would you do that? I sometimes think that people would pick both. Like, for example, they want to master it and then even still reset their stats, but I feel like people would rather pick one or the other. We as a society have always been about, like, moving on to, like, the next big thing, and so I feel like a lot of people are willing to do that even before they master something, but you always have that, like, scratching, feeling, like that itch in the back of your head. It's just like, oh, I gotta do this, I never did this yet. And I feel like that to go back and redo something again is less common. Like, a lot of people, unless they have a nostalgia kick, don't really go back to do things. So I feel like a lot of people probably would just master the game and move on. But if people really do truly love the game enough, I feel like they would start all over again, to be honest. For me, personally, I've already kind of done this. I mean, it's been from Xbox to PC in the form of restarting. Like, for example, like, no achievements, no stats or anything carry over, because there's no crossplay in this game, or cross-progression, like I was asking at the beginning of the video. So that means that I already have basically started it over. So I've already technically have done that, but I've never done the master. On Xbox, never got every single achievement, which is unfortunate, but I do plan to do it this time here on the PC. And in my opinion, I feel like that even though I'm technically doing reverse order, I'm mastering it after I've already reset my progress. I think that if I had to pick both, or pick one rather than the other, I think I rather would just pick the fact of starting all over again, because I don't think I can ever truly move on from Left 4 Dead. And even if I did master it, I would always feel like I can always do something bigger, badder, faster, etc. And even though mastery would be cool, I would not feel happy with just leaving it the way it was. I would always want to come back. I would always want to master the craft even more, because you can always do better, stronger, faster, more efficient. So even though I have done it already once before, I think I would even do it once again and redo all my Left 4 Dead stuff once again for old time's sake. Just because it's a great game and I would love to do everything I've done all over again. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it here for a couple of Would You Rather themed Left 4 Dead questions. If you guys want to check out the prior episode where I asked a question, one of many, about whether or not that you would rather meet Keith or the Midnight Riders, then I recommend that you check out the last Would You Rather episode. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think about all these questions? Would you personally pick the options that I picked? Would you pick different ones? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you guys ended up enjoying today's video. If you would like to financially support the channel, I tremendously appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions, or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they're sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. Shout out to Jake Squid for being a Patreon supporter as always, and I hope you guys end up enjoying seeing another YouTube video from the most unique YouTubers they're ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys. I love you, and peace out.
Hey meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!